he's such a killer. That guy's such a
on other
scary
fights,
guy.
but that's Benoit Saint Denis is a fucking monster.
Dude,
Benoit Saint Denis might be the biggest UFC psyop in modern history. No, I'm not saying he isn't a good fighter. What I'm saying is that the UFC has done an impeccable job at convincing the mass, except for real ball knowers, that he is the next coming of Khabib, next coming of Islam Makhachev, that he is this elite championship contending fighter right now. Biggest thing is you can't listen to the analysts or the commentators, because every time Benoit Saint Denis fights, they act like we're watching the next lightweight champion. They're gonna tell you he's elite. They're gonna tell you he's one fight away from the title. They're gonna tell you he is a god of war. And while I agree that he is a great fighter, obviously he's in the UFC, he's in the rankings, his resume does not apply to the level of glaze he is receiving. Let's take a look at Benoit Saint Denis' current win streak, with the first one being Kyle Prepelic. I mean this with all due respect. That man is a can. 36 years old, debutant against a Benoit Saint Denis, and then fought Drew Dober and lost. Prior to that, only regional scene wins. Nothing too impressive. And again, the age. 36, and I know Benoit is 30, but that is a 6-year difference with someone who has been in the UFC for a pretty decent amount of time compared to a debutant. That fight means nothing. Next, we have Marcio Ruffi. That is a phenomenal name to have on your resume, especially with what he's been doing now, knocking out Michael Chandler. I think he won his last 3 fights maybe. I could be wrong. I'll figure it out. After his loss to Benoit Saint Denis. However, that is a stylistically gifted matchup. And I'm not going to take away from the performance. That was a good win, but that was a performance that he needed to have it's not even a performance that he needed to have. It was expected. Ruffi doesn't grapple. Ruffi is a striker. Ruffi can grapple if he wants to, but that was an obvious path of victory. He offered him nothing on the ground. That's like giving Khabib versus Conor right now and expecting Conor to even compete like he did last time when he didn't even compete that well the first time. Or that's like giving Islam Makhachev fucking Sean O'Malley, Merab Sean O'Malley. It doesn't mean anything. It's a great name to have on your resume. When people go back and look at Benoit Saint Denis' resume, the first name that they're dragged to is Marcio Ruffi. It is a stat padding name, nothing more. After that, he fights Beneil Dariush at Madison Square Garden. That fight was a gift wrap. That is another version of a good name. Because when you go to that name and you see who he fought and who he beat, you're like, oh, Benny's pretty elite. Benny used to be an elite lightweight. He was a contender at one point. But this version of Benny isn't the same version that won 8 fights in a row. This version of Benny is the ghost of the forgotten past Benny, right? That fight, again, does nothing for me. It's a good name to have on there. I see the name, like, oh, Benny, but that's if I don't know anything about the sport. Then you have Dan Hooker, right? Another phenomenal name to have on your resume. Dan Hooker, this guy that goes out there, bites out on his mouthpiece and gets after it. This version of Dan Hooker, nothing. This version of Dan Hooker is withered, is a skeleton, is a guy who is fighting out his contract or is just fighting because he loves it. This isn't prime Dan Hooker. This isn't elite Dan Hooker. This isn't Dan Hooker who was being talked about to fight for the belt at one point. This is old man Hooker ready to retire. Those last 4 wins, Kyle Prepelic, Marcio Ruffi, Beneil Dariush, and Dan Hooker, you have one solid win in there, and it's because of the name. I will give you Marcio Ruffi. Everything else does not mean anything to me. To discreetly push on a contender to us. And they've done it before. Look at Paddy Pimblett. For years, people complained about Paddy Pimblett getting recognizable names that were past their primes. And that's understandable. He's getting hyped for beating old guys. It's elder abuse. It should be in jail. But it's not because the UFC thought these vets were going to win. It's because when you beat someone with a recognizable name, whether they're past their prime or not, it passes the eye test. You just look at their resume real quick, and it's just like, oh, fuck, he beat, King Green. He beat Jared Gordon, allegedly. Oh, BSD beat Benil Dariush or Marcio Rufia, Dan Hooker. Oh, those are great wins. It's just stat padding. That's all it is. And I'm not, shitting on Benoit for getting these fights and taking him. He's giving what he's taking. I'm shitting on the fan base and the commentators and the analysts for fucking glazing this man like he's a fucking donut from fucking Dunkin' Donuts. This is crazy. I don't understand when we lost the plot. We lost the idea of an actual contender, an actual prospect when they fight good fights. Like they fight people who are going to challenge them. Benoit and Paddy have not done that. Well, Paddy did that with Justin, but previous, and then Jared Gordon, but he robbed Jared Gordon. Previously. This photo, this is Paddy Pimblett. This is Paddy Pimblett after he fought Justin Gaethje. I know we all looked at this. We all remember this. This is called the Justin Gaethje effect. You see this photo? This is Benoit Saint Denis. And by the looks of it, it looks like he also fought Justin Gaethje, right? Wrong. He fought a Renato Moicano with a broken collarbone. Renato Moicano with a broken collarbone changed this man's face, held him down, did whatever he wanted to him, and ultimately forced the doctor to stop the fight. If a compromised Renato Moicano is doing that to a Benoit Saint Denis, this guy is the next coming, the next big lightweight, an injured old Renato Moicano. What is a healthy, competitive grappler like a Paddy Pimblett going to do to Benoit Saint Denis? What is he going to do? I want you to answer that question for me. How bad is Paddy Pimblett going to hold him down with 2 arms, 2 legs, fully healthy? If Renato Moicano could have done that with 1 arm. Everyone, including myself, at one point was giving Benoit Saint Denis a 50-50 chance to beat a Paddy Pimblett. I've changed my mind a lot. I've watched a lot of tape. I've reviewed a lot of sequences, of entries and jab works, and it's bad. It's bad for BSD. He's going to get beat up. This isn't a close fight. This is a one-sided beatdown for a Paddy Pimblett. What I will say, and I'm going to give BSD his flowers here, I do think that his boxing is a little bit more technical than a Paddy Pimblett's, right? Paddy Pimblett starts every fucking sequence with an uppercut. Let's be honest here. However, Paddy's got the better jab. Paddy establishes the jab a little bit better. Isn't the best on the back foot, and that is where BSD is the best. He puts you on your back foot. He's able to keep you guessing. He's the aggressor. He wants you to be uncomfortable. That's not really going to happen with Paddy. Maybe in the first round it could happen with Paddy, but BSD doesn't possess the power to put a Paddy Pimblett out. If Justin Gaethje, who couldn't even sleep Ilia Topuria, or Paddy Pimblett, you think a Benoit Saint Denis is going to do that? I don't think so. I don't think Paddy is in danger on the feet. He might get rocked, might get wobbled. I don't think he goes to sleep on the feet. What I think happens is that Paddy accepts the back foot a little bit too much, right? I think we can see him accept the back foot a little bit too much, but I see him chopping the legs, heavy, ripping the body, heavy, getting after Benoit Saint Denis like he's never been before, chopping the mobility, right? You kick the leg, kick the leg, kick the leg, kick the leg. It's wraps. Your mobility's over. And what does Benoit Saint Denis do when he's tired? Shoot for a takedown. He's going to have to. He's going to have to shoot for a takedown. And I will tell you this. Benoit Saint Denis takedowns, they might be aggressive and explosive, but they're sloppy. He leaves his head on the outside. He leaves his head too far on the outside for a jiu-jitsu practitioner like Paddy is terrible. He's going to get his neck snatched. He's going to get it cranked. He's going to get submitted. I do think Benoit Saint Denis possesses the skill to make this a competitive fight. I ultimately am taking Paddy Pimblett to win by whatever he wants, just because I don't trust Benoit Saint Denis' cardio. And holy fuck, I forgot this. Benoit Saint Denis has staph. Benoit Saint Denis has staph infection, and we're picking Benoit Saint Denis to beat a Paddy Pimblett. He's got, the last time we saw him have fucking staph infection, Dustin Poirier sent this man to the shadow realm. People forgot about Benoit Saint Denis after he got slept for staff. BSD should be fighting antibiotics and the shower, not Paddy Pimblett. Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot that he had staff. Dude, there's no... yeah, he's going to have an aggressive fight, but this man is going to lose the cardio battle. I'm not saying Paddy Pimblett's got the best cardio. I'm not saying he's a Marab. I'm not saying he's a David Goggins. I'm not saying he's any of this. But when you have staff and you're taking antibiotics, your immune system, your ability to recover is fucked. I do want to re-preference this, right? Every time I make a video about talking about a fighter, I understand they'll whoop my ass. That's okay. I get that. Whoop him. Whoop me. That's fine. But I'm talking about going against another league competition. I'm not saying BSD's a bad fighter, because clearly he's in the UFC. That's a good fight. You got to be some sort of level of good to get in the UFC and get into the rankings. I'm just saying he can't compete with the top echelon. He can't. Paddy Pimblett's going to show that. I think he's not elite. He's not elite. He'll be a great top 15. He's going to be a great name builder. Oh, Benoit Saint Denis, this guy who went on a 4 or 5 fight win streak 2 times. Now let's give him the next up-and-coming prospect. See if he can bounce back. He's going to be a Gamrot. He's literally the next Gamrot right now. Gamrot is on his way out eventually, but they're prepping Benoit Saint Denis for failure, I promise you. I really just think the UFC has done an incredible job at selling BSD as something that he's not. Not yet, at least, right? Obviously, if he beats Paddy, I might have to eat my words. It depends on how he beats Paddy, though. If he sleeps Paddy, I will fucking... I'll fucking commit spoku, right? You know what I mean? No, that's a little dramatic. I won't do that. I will fucking eat my words, though. Man of my words. From what I've seen, though, I just think the UFC has pushed this man into stardom like they're supposed to, giving him good matchups to build. I'm not sold. I'm not sold. Everything I'm watching and everything I'm seeing, it doesn't give me win. It doesn't give me elite fighter. It doesn't give me I'm going to do all this crazy stuff that I keep saying. Because there's a massive difference between elite lightweight and being an elite title contender. And until BSD proves that to me, he's just a prospect. BSD's just a prospect. I don't care. I don't care if he beat Beneil. I don't care if he beat... I don't care. I don't care if he beat Beneil. I don't care if he beat Dan Hooker. I could give a fuck if he held down a Marcio Rufy who doesn't grapple. I also could not care if he beat a Kyle Prepperlick. What I care about is his fight with Paddy. Him getting his face completely changed by a Renato Moicano with one arm. That is what I care about the most. And I don't care if it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago. You got dominated. It happens. I'm not buying the hype. Hey, ending of the video. Yes. Listen, I always want to preference this. I don't hate Benoit Saint Denis. I would like to work with Benoit Saint Denis. I'm just a very critical person, and especially when it comes to the overglazing of people. I'm the same way with Sean O'Malley. I would say it to Sean O'Malley. I've told fighters to their face that, you know, this is where they lack. This is the issues. This is this, right? If they can't take criticism, right? I'm not shit talking. I'm not saying he sucks. I'm not saying he shouldn't be in the UFC. I don't agree with that. I'm just being a critical person on the glaze and the resume and then the overall ability to perform. That's it. If you think I'm shit-talking this fighter, you're wrong. It might come off like shit-talk. It might come off passionate because I'm passionate about this sport. I love this sport. It's like analysts with football, right? Basketball. They're passionate. Stephen A. Smith. Scooter, whatever the fuck his name is. The one dude who said that. He's a football guy. I don't forget his name. Pat McAfee, right? I try to make it fun, entertaining. I try to break it down like this. But I appreciate you guys for sticking around. If you guys made it all the way here. We're trying to get the 500 subs. Might do a giveaway. Yeah, we'll probably do a giveaway. Maybe. We'll see. Well, I've said we did. Okay, we will. Fuck it. 500 subs, do a giveaway for like a signed glove or something. I got a couple over there. We'll figure it out. Make sure you guys follow me on all platforms. X is RJ__MMA. TikTok's RJ_MMA. Instagram's RJ_MMA1. I know it's all different. Fucking all the domains we're taking. Cry about it. Call the police is what it is. Thank you guys for fucking with me. Last video did crazy. Let's see if this video can do it as well. Share this to your homies. Like, subscribe. Fuck with you all. Peace.